Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fall 2023 Commissioning Ceremony for Michigan Technological University's Army and Air Force ROTC departments. I'm Cadet Brandon Collins with Michigan Tech Air Force ROTC, along with Cadet Sam Folk from Army ROTC, and we will narrate today's ceremony. As we begin, please welcome the official party. I would like to introduce those officiating this evening's ceremony. From left to right, U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Tide Guile, Chair, Department of Military Science, Michigan Tech Army ROTC, and Lieutenant Colonel Ben Zuniga, Chair, Department of Aerospace Studies, Michigan Tech Air Force ROTC. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the distinguished guests from the university and throughout the community, families, and friends who are here to support the nation's soon-to-be newest officers. This evening begins a great journey for them, and it is important that you are here to share in this experience. Your presence is greatly appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the national anthem. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Guile, Chair, Department of Military Science, will now introduce our guest speaker for tonight's ceremony.
Good evening, President Kobach, Dr. Storer, university faculty and staff, cadets, family, and friends of the 1st Arctic Battalion and Guardians of the North. It is my distinct honor this evening to introduce Major General Paul Rogers, our guest speaker for tonight's ceremony. His full bio can be found in your programs. Major General Rogers was commissioned in 1987 from the 1st Arctic Battalion here at Michigan Tech with a degree in mechanical engineering. He has dedicated the last 36 years of his life to the service both in his military and civilian career. On January 1st, 2019, Major General Rogers was sworn in as the 34th Adjutant General of the Michigan National Guard and Director of the Michigan Department of Military Veterans Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major General Paul Rogers.
Well, good evening, everybody. Oh, we're going to have to start over already, huh? Good evening, everybody. All right, thank you. Had to wake you up. So it's great. The lights are bright, so I actually can't see any of you. So if you get up and slip out, I won't know it. Just give you that background information. But tonight is a celebration. It's a celebration of these young Americans who've dedicated the next phase of their life to the protection of our country. It's a celebration of the love and support that the family and friends of these individuals have provided to them. I'm sure they're sitting there and they're confident and they feel, we made it, I made it, right? But the key is that you helped them make it. And someday, if they don't appreciate it now, they will be able to take stock in all that you have done throughout their life to set them up for this moment, for their success. You gave them the values and the principles and the morals to take on this responsibility. You gave them the encouragement and the support to get them through years of education and to take on a pretty heavy task of attending one of the best universities in the country and making it through a very rigorous program. So this is as much a celebration with their choices as it is for the support and the love that you've provided them throughout their life to help them get to this point and to be successful. So I would just like to give all of you a round of applause, and if you can join me for each other. It really tells you something about this university when the president shows up for a commissioning ceremony, when other administration officials, and I even saw some professors walk in the door to support these young Americans and support their choice. That tells you something about this university. It tells you something about the community in which this university resides. This is a great symbol of the support that Michigan Tech provides to the United States military and to all individuals who choose to serve their country in their first phase of the adult life. So thank you so much to Michigan Tech University. I had the pleasure of coming here for my bachelor's and then ultimately for my PhD. It is an amazing institution, just an incredible experience, educational experience. But aside from the classes and the programs that you've went through, it has taught you so much more. Something I think, again, you will appreciate later in life. It's taught you the discipline, how to teach yourself, how to study, how to wade into something you are uncomfortable with, unfamiliar with, and apply your time and your talents to understand and to be students of those topics. That will carry forward as you go into your career. Before you today are 9 individuals. 9 individuals who are going to do 2 things tonight. They are going to swear an oath to, number 1, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And number 2, to faithfully discharge the duties of their position. Those 2 commitments will define their future. And these are not easy things to do. To protect and defend quite often puts you at the forefront of some very dangerous, very complex situations. You are there as a frontline defense for our nation, to protect our nation's values, our way of life, and to overcome the challenges that we face globally. And those challenges are very significant today. In fact, we are on the precipice of a global conflict, and it will be dependent upon us to deter the aggressors, to keep them from making the terrible step that forces us into armed conflict. There are many hotspots around the world. You can watch TV, watch the news, you can read, and you can see all of the activities some of our opposers, some of our people who have different values, different goals, different objectives, a different view of the global order. You can see their activities and you can see how they are challenging us. We are all dependent on great leadership in order to navigate through difficult times. Leadership that starts where these young men and women are starting today. Leadership that is fostered and developed over years and years of experience. And with great leadership, we can successfully see ourselves through the challenges that we face. They are going to be facing a very complex military and operational environment. An operational environment that is defined by 5 domains: air, land, sea. Those are the ones we are most familiar with. But adding to that list are cyber and space. And we have an individual graduating from this university who is swearing an oath, who is joining that Space Command. But it is the confluence of these 5 domains that make our environment incredibly challenging. And it's the emergence of technologies that's fundamentally changing that landscape. What we're still grounded on is the will of individuals such as the folks sitting on this stage to put on the uniform, to swear the oath, to commit themselves to the profession of arms, and to step out on the front lines of our national defense. That has been fundamental since the founding of this country. But they too will have to study and apply themselves to understand the challenges that the new technologies and these new challenges bring to the United States. The lessons they've learned here in this university to study and to apply themselves will be key to their success going forward. You have to be an independent student of your profession. You have to apply yourselves. You have to read, study, internalize those lessons, and understand what is being presented in front of you. This university is an amazing starting point for that. It has given you those basic skills, or you would not be completing your program of study. So take away those lessons. As much as the lessons you've learned in your classes, take those lessons forward with you. Apply them each and every day. Whether you're on active duty, in the reserves, or in the National Guard, you must be a student of your profession each and every day. Continue to read, continue to study, continue to understand the challenges that are in front of us. In order for you to succeed, you all must continue to be students of your new chosen profession. I could not be more proud of you. I do not know any of you individually, but I've met thousands like you. And those thousands have created a legacy of service, a legacy you will stand on, and a legacy you will add to for the generations that come behind you. Remember, as you work through your individual programs, going to your individual training, at the backside of it, in a very not so distant future, you will be standing in front of airmen and soldiers, service members who have committed themselves to the same cause. It is incumbent upon you to be experts at leadership, to have empathy, understanding, to pay attention to what they're telling you, while you can still command and stand at the front of their formation. Being an officer and getting the pleasure of leading, getting the privilege of commanding, is only a portion. You must earn their respect. You must prove to them that you understand them, that you care for them, and that you put their interests equal among your own. And you must always focus on the mission and accomplish the mission. I want to just pivot here quickly back to the purpose of tonight. It truly is a celebration. It's a recognition of these young men and women who've, again, taken a great step, a step forward to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, to support this great country and our values and our way of life. We are all very proud of you. I know the friends and family who are here to support you are proud of you, and this university is proud of you. So thank you and good luck.
At this time, the program leads for the Army and Air Force ROTC will now present Major General Rogers with a token of appreciation from each program. Now I would like to introduce Air Force Detachment 400 Commander and Professor of Aerospace Studies, Lieutenant Colonel Ben Zuniga.
Good evening. Major General Rogers, I again offer my sincere thanks for taking the time, first of all, to come out here and travel to be here with us tonight, but also for your remarks. Very pertinent to our military and to all of us, I think, especially these men and women sitting here before us who will soon join the officer ranks in our military. So thank you, sir. Again, I want to offer my thanks to President Kobach, Dr. Storr, all the Board of Trustees, all the deans, and many faculty that have made it out tonight. I do want to echo that. We are very well supported here at Michigan Tech. All the distinguished guests, thank you so much. To the cadets in the audience, I want to offer my sincere thanks as well. Army Arctic Warriors and Air Force Guardians of the North, thanks for coming here tonight, and we look forward to your place on this stage soon. A special thanks to family and friends here tonight. You make this evening so special to us. Many of you traveled great distances to be here tonight, and we are honored by your presence here. At Air Force ROTC Detachment 400, we call ourselves the Guardians of the North. Here on the Keweenaw Peninsula, we're about as far north as you can get. And we do our best to uphold the traditions and the innovation of our nation's air and space powers. We have a proud tradition here at Detachment 400, being one of the oldest and original 19 Air Force ROTC detachments in the country, established in 1946. Today, we are surging forward, ranking well into the top 10% of the nation in both student cumulative GPA and physical fitness assessment. And the Air and Space Forces quite like the degrees from Michigan Tech. Tonight, our program, we will just commission one lieutenant, but we have a relatively unique opportunity to send off a commissionee for active duty into the United States Space Force. To the Army brethren on stage and families in the audience, I offer my apologies because we only have one this time. Tonight, I'd like to take a few extra minutes to describe space, the new Space Force, and the nuances of Nick McKenzie's commission. The work of the Space Force is by its nature highly sensitive, often classified, and mostly out of sight. This leaves the organization in a battle for visibility and oftentimes viability. I've seen it when I was recently assigned at U.S. Africa Command. Some members of the force, guardians as they're called, often find themselves bumping into members of other branches of the military who see their arm patches and pose the question, Space Force, is that a real thing? Yes, it is real. Space is a vast new warfighting domain. We describe space as congested, crowded with both natural and man-made objects. At least 44,500 objects now circle the Earth. Over 44,000. Including 9,000 active satellites and 20,000 large pieces of space debris. It is a technological zoo up there, and the satellite mix is foreign and domestic, young and old, sinister and peaceful. We also describe space as contested, meaning lower tech costs today allow for much greater access to and contests in space. One could consider it relatively easy to put a satellite into space. With 44,500 items moving around the Earth and new arrivals into orbit every week, the Space Force seeks space domain awareness, asking, who launched these machines? Why? What could they do? We need to know what's up there, where it's going, and why. And especially, should we be concerned about it? Lastly, we describe space as competitive, meaning nations are competing for space superiority. As space becomes commercialized, it increasingly becomes a geopolitical arena for competition too. When it becomes competition and an arena for potential conflict, anticipated technologies such as RF jammers, chemical sprayers, and disabling lasers are just join the proven weapons of cyber warfare, electromagnetic instruments, and anti-satellite missiles. Our nation's military must logically take a stand. The creation of the Space Force is based on initiatives within the Armed Forces and Congress for a good 25 years. Today, the Space Force is the sixth and newest branch of the U.S. military, created exactly 4 years ago in December 2019. The Space Force is tasked to monitoring, protecting, and ensuring access to a territory far larger than the Earth's oceans, a big domain with the smallest force, smaller than the Coast Guard, today employing less than 9,000 active duty guardians. Ensuring access to things such as vital communications, weather surveys, and GPS. The U.S. Space Force is a military service within the Department of the Air Force. The closest analogy is the U.S. Marine Corps, operating under the Department of the Navy. Likewise, Marine Corps ROTC cadets fall within Navy ROTC upon commissioning. In the same way, Cadet McKenzie will say an Air Force oath and commission as an officer in the Department of the Air Force today. Early next year, though, he'll then pledge a second oath into the Space Force as he enters active duty. Cadet Nicholas McKenzie is from Dexter in downstate Michigan. He has a strong desire to serve his country as others in his family have done before him. Air Force ROTC was the right answer for him, even more so as he pursued an electrical engineering degree extremely applicable as a developmental engineer in the U.S. Space Force. I trust that he'll be at the helm with innovative new ideas, and yes, we're all eagerly waiting where his first assignment will be. Nick loves water sports, namely scuba diving, but I really could not talk about Nick without mentioning running. He is an athlete, a shining star within Michigan Tech's cross-country team. I will never forget him running at our Air Force PT twice a week. He can run a 1.5 mile run in an astounding 7 minutes and 36 seconds, looking like a stroll in the park to all of us. Cadet McKenzie, let's make you a Department of the Air Force officer.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Zuniga. As we prepare to administer the oath of office to our Air Force and Army cadets, we recall the Constitution of the United States serves as the bedrock of authority and the responsibility upon which the oath of office is instituted. The oath of office links directly back to the Constitution and is the commitment that all officers make to service and leadership. Please pay special attention to the words as they are spoken. These cadets are pledging themselves to uphold our Constitution and defend our nation and its values. Following the oath, each new second lieutenant will have their new rank pinned on them by their family and friends. Each new second lieutenant will then participate in the time-honored tradition of the Silver Dollar Salute. The first enlisted service member who salutes the second lieutenant following their commissioning receives a silver dollar, symbolizing the deep sense of gratitude for knowledge passed on to them during training. It is an acknowledgement from one professional soldier or airman to another, saying, "Welcome to the military, our profession of arms." We will now administer the oath of office to our Air Force commissionee. Cadet Nicholas McKenzie will have his oath of office administered by Lieutenant Colonel Zuniga.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Brian McKenzie,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant
having been appointed a second lieutenant
in the United States Air Force,
in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
then that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
upon
which I am about to enter.
So
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Second Lieutenant McKenzie will now pin on his new rank. Performing this honor for Second Lieutenant McKenzie are his parents, Dave and Laura McKenzie. Lieutenant McKenzie graduates with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. His Air Force specialty is electrical and electronic engineer, and his first assignment is to be determined. Lieutenant McKenzie will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant McKenzie will exchange his first salute with Ken Betts, who was a corporal in the United States Marine Corps. Congratulations, Lieutenant McKenzie. At this time, I would like to introduce Army Cadet Sam Folk, who will narrate the Army commissioning ceremony.
We will now begin the Army's portion of the ceremony. I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Guile to provide remarks about the commissioning class.
Good evening again. Major General Rogers, on behalf of the 1st Arctic Battalion, I would like to thank you for taking the time to be here with us tonight to celebrate this moment in the careers of these young officers. The 1st Arctic Battalion has a long and storied history, dating back to 1928, of producing some of the finest officers to have served in the Army. Tonight is another chapter in that history. These cadets sitting in front of you embody what it means to lead the pack. I would like to take a few minutes before we get to the real reason that we are all here tonight to congratulate our commissionees and share my thoughts on how someone makes it to this point. To all of our commissionees here on stage tonight, this ceremony marks not only a significant step in your military career, but also your life. The path you have all chosen to take will definitely have its challenges, but more importantly, it will be one of the most enlightening and rewarding experiences of your life. Congratulations to you and your families on the tremendous milestone in your career. Now, how did they get here? In my short time in this program, I've identified 4 things that I truly impact an individual's ability to get to this point. First, it starts with strong values and character, which are instilled in each cadet throughout their childhood by their families. The values that set a strong moral and ethical foundation, and the character that allows each cadet to adapt to and overcome adversities. These values and character traits are essential to the development of effective leaders both in the Army and in life. For this, I truly thank each of the families. Second, the knowledge and experience provided to each student by the faculty and staff from across all disciplines here at Michigan Tech. Your efforts help ensure each of these cadets have the greatest opportunity to succeed in their civilian careers, whether that is immediately upon graduation, as for the cadets commissioning into the National Guard, or years down the road for the cadets commissioning onto active duty. For this, I truly thank the university faculty and staff. Third, is the training and mentoring provided to each cadet by the cadre and staff of the 1st Arctic Battalion. Every aspect of the ROTC program is designed to assist and develop the cadets from the first time we talk to the cadet to the day they commission and beyond. Everything we do is to prepare each cadet to succeed out in the force. For this, I truly thank the cadre and staff of the 1st Arctic Battalion. And fourth is the commitment and dedication of each individual cadet. You can have the best values, the best education, excellent mentorship, but if you, in your heart, are not committed and dedicated to what it means to be a leader in the Army and the tremendous weight of responsibility that comes with that title, then all of this is for naught. Each one of these cadets here tonight have without a doubt demonstrated they have a strong foundation of values and character. They have excelled in building the knowledge and experience needed to succeed in their individual disciplines. They have received superb mentorship and training to prepare them to shoulder the weight of responsibility of Army leadership. And lastly, they have proven that they are committed and dedicated to being a leader in the profession of arms. For this, I thank each of you being commissioned here tonight. I'm extremely proud of each of you and all you have accomplished to this point. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you and your families the best of luck as you start the next chapter of your life. Please don't ever forget that you are and always will be a part of the Arctic Warrior family, and we will always be here to help when needed. Arctic Warriors, lead the pack. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Guy. Cadets Dominic Bianchi, Elliot Kamrowski, and Abel Stewart will have their oath of office administered by Lieutenant Colonel Retired Colleen Klausner, United States Army.
Okay. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Elliot Lewis Kamilowski,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well,
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
of that which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Dominic Bianchi will have his rank pinned on by his parents, Stephen and Jody Bianchi, sister Gabby, and his girlfriend, Kayla Zalesny. Lieutenant Bianchi graduates today with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, magna cum laude. As a distinguished military graduate, he is commissioned as an ordnance officer in the Michigan Army National Guard. He will attend Ordnance Basic Officer Leader Course and Explosive Ordnance Disposal School at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Bianchi are his family and friends. Lieutenant Bianchi will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Bianchi will exchange his first salute with Sergeant David Gertis. Congratulations, Lieutenant Bianchi. Second Lieutenant Kamilowski will now have his rank pinned on by his parents, David and Wendy Kamilowski, and his sisters, Ariana Kamilowski and Isabel Kamilowski. Lieutenant Kamarowski graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He is commissioned as an Ordnance Officer in the Utah Army National Guard. He will attend Ordnance Basic Officer Leader Course and Explosive Ordnance Disposal School at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Kamarowski are his family and friends. Lieutenant Kamarowski will now participate in the time-honored tradition of the first salute. Lieutenant Kamarowski will exchange his first salute with Lance Corporal Anthony Lynn, United States Marine Corps. Congratulations, Lieutenant Kamarowski. Second Lieutenant Stewart will now have his rank pinned on by his wife, Heidi White, mother, Susie Stewart, and aunt, Diane Kraft. Second Lieutenant Stewart graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. He is commissioned as an infantry officer in the Michigan Army National Guard. He will attend Infantry Basic Officer Leader Course at Fort Moore, Georgia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Stewart are his family and friends. Lieutenant Stewart will now exchange his first salute with retired Master Chief Robert Rowe, U.S. Coast Guard. Congratulations, Lieutenant Stewart. The next Army Cadet we will commission is Cadet Victoria Cameron. Cadet Cameron will have her oath of office administered by Second Lieutenant Aaron Bennett, United States Army.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Victoria Cameron, having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
I, Victoria Cameron, having been appointed an officer in the United States,
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
in the grade of Second Lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Cameron will now have her rank pinned on by her husband, Mark Guzdian, and parents, Larry and Rebecca Cameron. Lieutenant Cameron graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Management, cum laude. She is commissioned active duty as a transportation officer. She will attend the Transportation Corps Basic Officer Leader Course at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Cameron are her family and friends. Lieutenant Cameron will exchange her first salute with former Sergeant Larry Cameron, U.S. Army Special Forces, United States Army. Congratulations, Lieutenant Cameron. Cadets Trent Graham and Dominic Jolly will have their oath of office administered by Second Lieutenant Eric Vogel, United States Army.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Dominic Jolly,
Having been appointed a second lieutenant in the United States Army.
having been appointed as second lieutenant in the United States Army,
In the grade of second lieutenant.
in the grade of second lieutenant,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Graham will now have his rank pinned on by his parents, Darren and Angie Graham. Lieutenant Graham graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Materials Science and Engineering. He is commissioned active duty as a transportation officer. He will attend the Transportation Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Also celebrating with Lieutenant Graham are his family and friends. Lieutenant Graham will exchange his first salute with Private First Class Charles Cortez, United States Army. Congratulations, Lieutenant Graham. Second Lieutenant Jolly will now have his rank pinned on by his wife, Rebecca, parents, Gary and Beth Jolly, and his sister, Hannah. Lieutenant Jolly graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. He is commissioned active duty as a Field Artillery Officer. He will attend the Field Artillery Basic Leader course at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Also celebrating Lieutenant Jolly are his family and friends. Lieutenant Jolly will exchange his first salute with Sergeant Cody Clark, United States Army. Congratulations, Lieutenant Jolly. The next Army cadet we will commission is Cadet David Nabak. Cadet Nabak will have his oath of office administered by Lieutenant Commander Kenneth Steele, United States Navy.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, David Donald Nabak,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army
having been appointed an officer in the Army
of the United States
of the United States
in the grade of second lieutenant
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
of which I'm about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Nabak will now have his rank put on by his wife, Natalie, daughter, Melody, and parents, David and Kathy Nabak. Lieutenant Nabak graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering, cum laude. He is commissioned as an engineer officer in the Michigan Army National Guard. He will attend the Engineer Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Also celebrating Lieutenant Nabak are his family and friends. Lieutenant Nabak will exchange his first salute with Sergeant First Class Anthony King, United States Army. Congratulations, Lieutenant Nabak. The next Army cadet we will commission is Cadet James Ward. Cadet Ward will have his oath of office administered by Second Lieutenant Tucker Witkoff, United States Army.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, James Robert Ward,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
having been appointed an officer in the United States Army,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
in the grade of second lieutenant,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Second Lieutenant Ward will now have his rank pinned on by his parents, Heatherlyn Myers and Douglas Ward. Lieutenant Ward graduates with a Bachelor of Science in Management. He is commissioned active duty as a transportation officer. He will attend the Transportation Corps Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia. Also celebrating Lieutenant Ward are his family and friends. Lieutenant Ward will exchange his first salute with Staff Sergeant Retired James Thomas, United States Army. Congratulations, Lieutenant Ward. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you for the first time our nation's newest lieutenants. behalf of the Michigan Tech Army and Air Force ROTC programs, I would like to thank all of you for attending today's ceremony and invite you to celebrate with us in the lobby for refreshments. Please stand for the playing of the Army, Air Force, and Space Force songs, along with the departure of the official party.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cages loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. With the mighty watchful eye, guardians beyond the blue, the invisible front line, for fighters brave and true. Boldly reaching into space, there's no limit to our sky, standing guard both night and day. We're the Space Force from on high, beyond the blue, the U.S. Space Force.
This concludes the ceremony.